In this video, I'm continuing my playthrough of No Peace Without Honor from Compass Games. It is on the Anglo-Dutch War in the 17th century. And I'll be covering, I think, turns 2 and 3 here, which represents the years 1673 and 1674. So we'll go down to the map and see how things progress. So this is the 1673 turn in No Peace Without Honor, the Dutch War. And one of the things that happens this turn, one of the unnamed leaders for the French is promoted. It was Luxembourg, but now he goes from a 1-4 leader to a 3-6 leader. So he's a lot more powerful. And on the turn track, the colonial wars... in the event phase, the colonial wars is drawn and played. So this is affecting New England mostly. And so this is what's going on with King Philip's War and the Dutch Navy. And so this increases the French war weariness by 1. It also increases the Dutch replacements by 1. So this is, a very positive event for the Dutch. To make matters worse, the French drew some bad cards, a lot of ones. So that's not so good, but they do use 2 operations, and Turenne moves back into Liege and begins the siege again. There is a Dutch unit inside the fortification. Luxembourg stays back at Koblenz, and then Conde moves into Landau and begins a siege there. The Dutch basically spent 2 ops to flood Amsterdam and Naarden again, and that's what you see in this picture. Also, Turenne continued with his siege and got that rolling, and had some success reducing the strength of the fortification. It cost him some troops to do it, but it was worth it. Conde's siege in Landau, no effect. Terrible. You can see this is how things left off in this next photo, number 4 here. The Dutch, just all they did really is move the Austrians around. Then Turenne continues the siege at Liege and gets a very good result. The French also take some casualties, but the fort is eliminated, leaving just the garrison there. And then Conde continues with the siege at Landau. This is very successful. Landau falls, and this brings the victory points down to 8 victory points. In the Dutch move an unnamed leader into Philipsburg. And that's about it, all that happens there. Then finally the siege at Liege, led by Turenne's forces, succeeds, and honors of war are awarded to the Dutch corps that is there, and it moves back into Nijmegen. But with the fall of Liege, 2 more victory points for the Bourbons, and which drops the victory points down to 6. The Dutch replenishes the weakened corps. That's pretty much all that happened in 1673. This last photo is just an overview of things, and what you see here is the end of 1673. The victory point track is at 6. So now we go to the year 1674. I think this is turn 3. And the French Marshal, it's Marshal Cadenet, I believe. He's promoted. He's in Philipsburg for the French. And then the French leader, Montecuculi, quits. I guess he quit in a huff. I don't know what exactly happened, but he was one of the better leaders for the Dutch allies. Then the card Dutch naval victories was played, so the Dutch have defeated some Anglo-French fleets, as happened historically. So now the effect is that the Dutch control the Atlantic. They get an additional replacement point each turn. I think they're up to 4 replacement turn points. And the Bourbon war weariness is increased by 1 as well, which brings them into the Test Act. So with the effects that is going to have. So the French end up building 2 corps in Lyon. Both sides build during the reinforcement phase. So on round 1, the French have 3 operations that they play, and they have Noailles moves with a force from Lyon to Freiburg. Then von Galen moves from Münster to Loblich, which is not a fortress, incidentally. And the Dutch there have 1 strength point, and they retreat to the fortress behind them. I think it's Groningen. So there's now 2 strength points there, 2 corps. And then Galen ends up converting Loblich. And then for the 3rd activation, I have a leader, a generic leader, moves to Lille, and just kind of sets up a position to react or to check anything that might happen in the Spanish Netherlands. Then the Dutch plays 2 operations, and they flood Amsterdam and Naarden again, as you can see in the next photo. In round 2, the French player plays 2 operations, and they get hit with the bad weather card, which cuts it down to 1 operation. Actually, the French attack the fortress in Nijmegen, and it tries to go into a siege. So what I ended up having to do, Frederick Wilhelm and Johann Moritz are in this area, and they decide to retreat into the fortress. So they have 2 Empire corps and a Dutch corps, and you got both leaders. So this is fairly formidable, and I believe Nijmegen is a level 2 fortress. So we'll have to see how that happens. And then during the Dutch part of the turn, a subsidy corps moves from Nuremberg into the Empire box. In round 3, the French play 2 operations, and General Noailles moves from Freiburg into Ulm and begins a siege there. And then Turenne continues his siege at Nijmegen, and this has no effect. So it's going to continue into the next round. The Dutch moves a subsidy corps from the Empire box into Münster, and there's an interception attempt by von Golen and from Lublin, and he is successful at intercepting, and so a battle ensues, and the Dutch unit is eliminated with 2 hits, and so that didn't work out so well. In round 4, the French play 2 operations, and so General Noailles continues his siege at Ulm, and Ulm falls ultimately to the French, which brings the victory points down to 5. And then the siege at Nijmegen continues with Turenne, and there is again no effect on this one. So this is going to turn out to be a failure this time for Nijmegen. So in round 5, the French continued the siege at Nijmegen. Because the siege has gone on longer, they now have a +2 modifier, even though the leaders involved cancel each other out. And the result this time is both sides suffer a loss, so both sides have a corps reduced, and that is all. So that kind of wraps up 1674. The Test Act, of course, is in effect, and France and England are still aligned, so that increases the war weariness for France. Also, Marshal Turin withdraws from Nijmegen back into Colonna. And, Nijmegen's fortress never was even remotely harmed in this. So that's what you have there. And that brings an end to this video. Please stay tuned if you would like to see more of No Peace Without Honor, and I hope you have a great day.